They used to call me the nice one, the reliable one, the patient one, the one who always listened, always smiled, always forgave. I wore that label like a badge, and it slowly, silently buried me, because no one told me that being nice was often just a disguise for fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being seen as difficult, fear of not being loved unless I was useful. I wasn't being kind. I was erasing myself. Quietly. One "it's okay" at a time. One swallowed no after another. One uncomfortable laugh in moments I wanted to scream. I said yes when I wanted to say no. I said, "Don't worry about it," when I was bleeding inside. I said, "I'm fine," while stitching my own wounds in the dark. They called me strong. I was just silent. They called me mature. I was just exhausted. They called me easygoing. I was just afraid to take up space. The truth is, I wasn't born to be nice. I was trained into it, conditioned to shrink so others could stretch, taught that love must be earned, that being chosen meant being small. And then, one day, I cracked. Not loudly, not with drama, but quietly, like a porcelain plate dropped in an empty room. No one even noticed, because the nice one never makes noise. But I noticed, and in the silence that followed, I realized something brutal. Kindness without boundaries isn't kindness. It's self-erasure. So I stopped being nice. I didn't become cruel. I became clear. I started saying no. I started asking, "What about me?" I started protecting the version of me I used to abandon for applause. And suddenly, I was harder to be around, not because I changed, but because I stopped performing comfort for people who only loved me when I was quiet. I lost some relationships, but I found my voice. And between the two, I'll always choose me. When I got quiet, they said I was being stubborn. When I shared my feelings, they said I was overreacting. When I set boundaries, they said I was being difficult. When I spoke up, they said I was ungrateful. When I needed help, they said I was needy. And then I learned to keep my mouth shut again, swallow my pain, pick up the pieces and pretend I was okay. But this time, something was different. Something had shifted. And instead of reshaping myself to fit in, I stared back and said, "No, I am not okay," and the world went silent. There's a difference between "I'm fine" and "I am fine." One is a whisper. One is a roar. One is a shield. One is surrender. One says, "Please don't see me," and the other says, "I will show you." There's a difference between submitting and succeeding, between enduring and thriving, between accepting what you deserve and accepting what you settle for, between shrinking yourself to make others comfortable and speaking your truth and letting them scatter. There's a difference between covering up and healing, between self-silencing and self-discovery, between hiding your needs and asking for what you want, between being soft and being strong, between being liked and being known, between being easy and being real. They say there's strength in numbers. But what if those numbers are all the same? What if everyone is saying yes, but no one really wants to? What if everyone is smiling, but no one is happy? We've traded honesty for harmony, vulnerability for vanity, depth for deception. And we've convinced ourselves that this is progress. We force ourselves to be pleasant, to agree, to comply, to perform this illusion of togetherness. But beneath the surface, resentment festers, anxiety gnaws, and emptiness echoes. How many of us have been praised for our obedience, for being the good one, the quiet one, the one who put everyone else's needs first? How many of us have been rewarded for our docility, our willingness to be molded, to fit in, to be anything but ourselves? We've learned to equate our worth with our usefulness, our value with our compliance, our significance with our silence. And in this twisted logic, we've sold our souls for acceptance. Why is it that we're more likely to celebrate the child who stops crying, who doesn't ask questions, who simply obeys? Why do we praise the student who doesn't challenge, who doesn't question, who simply conforms? Why do we applaud the employee who doesn't complain, who doesn't negotiate, who simply complies? Is it because we admire their strength or their submission? Is it because we respect their resilience or their docility? Or is it because we're all too familiar with the cost of speaking up, of standing out, of daring to be seen? We've built a culture that values fitting in over standing out, compliance over creativity, obedience over critical thinking. We've normalized silencing ourselves, not just to avoid conflict, but to avoid being seen, to avoid being labeled as difficult, as problematic, as a troublemaker. So many of us grew up learning that to be loved means to be little, that to be valued means to be quiet, that to be accepted means to be small. But here's the brutal truth. Love doesn't require you to be little. Value doesn't demand you be quiet. Acceptance doesn't expect you to be small. You are worthy exactly as you are. Your voice matters. Your presence is enough. It takes courage to dismantle the walls we've built around ourselves, brick by painful brick. To face the world without the armor of pretense, to expose our vulnerabilities to risk being seen, to confront the demons of rejection and abandonment head on. But here's the paradox. In that very exposure, in that very vulnerability, lies our true power. The ability to be truly seen, to be known, and still to be loved, accepted, and valued. That's the ultimate act of defiance. That's where the revolution begins. I am not here to be palatable. I am not here to cater to your comfort. I am here to be real, to be whole, to be someone I can live with. I am not here to soothe your fears. I am here to face mine. I am not here to earn your approval. I am here to discover my own. There is a freedom in recognizing that our value isn't tied to anyone else's perception of us, that our worth isn't determined by how well we conform, by how quiet we are, by how much we give up of ourselves. Our value is intrinsic. It's inherent. It's a birthright. We were never taught that being strong meant being silent. We were taught that being silent was easier, that conforming made life simpler, that being quiet would protect us. But I say there's a strength in vulnerability, a power in honesty, a beauty in authenticity. I say there's courage in speaking up, in setting boundaries, in demanding respect. I say there's liberation in acknowledging our needs, our desires, our dreams. And yes, I know it's terrifying. It's terrifying to peel back the layers of conditioning, to confront the scars of the past, to challenge the beliefs that have held us back for so long. It is terrifying to realize that the world we thought we knew doesn't want us to be free, that the systems that seem to hold us up might be the very ones keeping us small. But here's the truth. The greatest act of defiance isn't in blindly obeying. It's in knowing better and doing better. The greatest revolution isn't in mindless conformity. It's in conscious evolution. The greatest strength isn't in learned helplessness. It's in earned self-reliance. I may not be the nice one anymore. I may not be the easy choice, the safe bet, the comfortable silence. But I am real. I am honest. I am unapologetically me. And if that scares you, if that challenges you, if that makes you uncomfortable, then perhaps it's time for you to look within and ask, why is it that you find it so difficult to accept someone who is simply being true to themselves? Thank you for watching.